If you had one shot or one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted in one moment, would you capture it or just let it slip? Yo. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti, he's nervous, but on the surface he looks calm and ready to drop bombs. But he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so loud, he opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. He's choking how? Everybody's choking now. The clock's run out, time's up, over, loud. Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, there goes rabbit. He choke. He's so mad, but he won't give up. Daddies, he know he won't have it. He knows his whole back to these ropes. It don't matter, he's dope. He knows that, but he's broke. He's so stacked that he knows when he goes back to this mobile home, that's when it's back to the lab again, yo. This old rhapsody better go back to this moment and hope it don't pass him.
Listen, we can talk about the flag, but let's talk about Wait.
And good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on DSM Media. Just finishing out a little slow this morning on sharing it out and getting it all set up online here. We're just about set here. Anyway, good morning and welcome to the show. It's Trending in the AM. I am Phil Stifle, your host. We're live, as we always are, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. You know the drill. Share it out on Facebook. Retweet it out on Twitter. If you're over on YouTube, make sure you give us a thumbs up and a subscribe. If you really want to be extra specially helpful to us, not only hit the subscribe, you hit the bell too. That turns the notifications on YouTube. Excuse me. It's also the best place to get involved with the show. You can put your comments in Facebook or YouTube. We appreciate them on YouTube. That way I can put your questions and comments and thoughts right up on the screen, like these examples that I have preset up for you, Phillies. Ring the freaking bell. Fly, Eagles, fly. And Sixers in 5 is back. We are brought to you here at DSM Media, all dozen shows that we got on this absolutely fantastic network by Manscaped, the leader in men's grooming products. Make sure you check them out, manscaped.com. Use promo code DSM at checkout. It gets you free shipping. It gets you 20% off. And it lets them know Team DSM, the best podcast network in Philadelphia, sent you to them. So I know there's a lot of different, promo codes you can use from all the different podcast network out there in the country, but make sure you use your favorite one, DSM, the promo code DSM, and it helps support us since we bring you the fire, the heat, the energy every single day of the week. Good morning, Mark. How you doing today? Do what Mark does. Turn the dial down and plug Trending in the AM into your car, into your Apple Play, however you do those kind of things. I'm not very technical. I mean, Mark talks about how he does it all the time, and I don't know how to do it, but turn us up every single morning, 8:30 a.m., right here on DSM Media. I'm rolling solo today. No guests, no anything. If you've got questions, I got a lot of topics I want to talk. I want to ramble on a bit today. That's my goal today. Get some things that, I love Mark, I love Jason, I love all the guests I have on, but I host and I kind of direct the other people into the conversation. So I don't really get enough chance to ramble on some of my thoughts on some specific things. We're going to talk Phillies today. I've got serious concerns about the starting rotation in the bullpen. So we're going to get into a little bit more talk about that and why. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about the Phillies starting lineup because today's starting lineup came out for the spring training game today. And it's interesting. It's a little bit of a sneak peek into what to expect this year. So we're going to talk about the Phillies a little bit today. We're going to talk about the Sixers. Sixers are heading out west. Big West Coast trip, 3 games against the Lakers, the Clippers, and the Suns. We're going to preview that. We're going to talk, about what the expectations are on this road trip. And we're going to talk Eagles, free agency. And as Mark likes to use the phrase, Harry Roseman playing chess, not checkers, and what potentially could happen. And also pro days. I'm going to touch on pro days here because everybody's freaking out about yesterday's Malik Willis pro day, the Liberty quarterback. Guys, we're going to temper your expectations, and I'm going to show you how, and I'm going to show you why. So we're going to get started here. We're going to start talking Phillies. And real quick, I'm going to share the screen a lot today. Why did my mouse stop working there? We're going to share the screen a little bit today. I got a whole bunch of different things. This might totally backfire, but I don't want my face to be totally off the screen. There we go. This is from Jim Salisbury's Twitter account. It's today's Phillies starting lineup, okay? There is a little bit of information you can learn here from this. Okay, Nick Castellanos, he'll be introduced in a press conference today or tomorrow, so he's not in the lineup yet, but he will be here later this week. He will be playing in spring training games by the end of the week. But this here is pretty much what we expected. You got Kyle Schwarber leading off. I know some people don't like to talk about that, but Kyle Schwarber is most likely, as this team is constituted right now, the leadoff hitter on this team. He draws a lot of walks. He gets on base. He actually had a really good batting average and on-base percentage in the leadoff role, the part of the season when he did that last year. So I know he's not your prototypical speed demon at the top of the order, but this is what it's going to look like. It's going to be him. It's going to be Gene Segura in the two-hole, a prototypical, old-school two-hole hitter, advances the ball, hits it opposite field, does all those things. Then you got Harper, Realmuto, Hoskins. Gregorius still in there at shortstop. Bohm, Vierling, and Hazley. That's your 1 through 9. Now, when Nick Castellanos is in that lineup, he is going to be slotted into that 4-hole ahead of Realmuto. It's just going to slide everyone down. So it would be Castellanos in the 4, Realmuto 5, Hoskins 6, and so on down the line. He'll probably be that left fielder. So Vierling is not going to be your starting left fielder. Most likely it'll be Nick Castellanos or Kyle Schwarber. You might see them flip-flop a bunch. And Hazley in center field. Now, I haven't seen a lot of games. I pay attention to a lot of, spring training games, but I don't count records. I don't count stats. I just kind of try to get a feel for things. And this early in the season, when you're rolling out, and this early in the spring training, when you're rolling out what could potentially be your opening day lineup minus Nick Castellanos, and Adam Hazley is your starting center fielder in this game, kind of starts to make me think. Like I brought it up earlier this week on the show, brought it up last week. Everybody keeps talking about Odubel and Vierling as your starting center fielders platooning. Let's not write off Adam Hazley, the former first-round pick. Before last year, we still, like I said before, we don't know why he was not, on the team. He took a personal leave from the team, but he is back. We don't know what happened last year, but it seems like he's back with the team. Seems like he's in a good spot right now. And, the guy started to show a little something in 2019 and 2020 before he took his time away. So don't write him off totally. And I think it's a little glimmer, a little taste of what to expect. The fact that Hazley is out there today and not Odubel Herrera. Because this is basically your starting lineup. There's a really good chance that Vierling and Hazley are the guys platooning in center field. Look, Odubel Herrera, say what you will about him personally and his things. Is Odubel hurt already? I mean, it's very possibly that he is. I mean, I would not be surprised. But it's also very possible that, they signed him to like a bare minimum contract, $1.5 million. Don't be surprised if, he's a guy that gets cut. If there's some tough choices to make, down the line here as we get closer to spring training. Mark's saying he actually is. It's not a joke. He really is hurt. Well, you know what? Couldn't have happened to a better guy. Sorry, that's my little side personal opinion on it. I don't wish injury on anybody, but Odubel Herrera, not necessarily the best person in the world. So we'll leave that at that. But I think that lineup gives you a little taste of what to expect. And it's a really good starting lineup. Schwarber, Segura, Harper, Hoskins, Castellanos, then Hoskins when he's there. Realmuto, like I said, they got Didi batting ahead of Alec Bohm. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I know Alec Bohm still has some issues to work out. I am not giving up on Alec Bohm like others. I am not sending him down to AAA to start the season. First off, they did announce yesterday, they had talked about it since the lockout ended. They did announce yesterday that the rosters for the month of April, because of the shorter camp time, because of the fact that these guys aren't getting enough time to get ready, Major League rosters will be 28 players. They're going to let you have 2 extra guys on the roster to start the season for the first month, which will help. A lot of teams will probably use that on pitchers. Starters might not be able to go a full 7-8 innings right from the get-go, so that would probably be that there. An extra bat, potentially, but, we'll see how that plays out. But that lineup is really good. This team can score a lot of runs. We look back to 2007, 2008 when the Phillies were scoring 6.5, 7 runs a game on average. This is a lineup that can do that. But the problem is this lineup will only go as far as the starting pitching takes us. And I've hinted at it, and I've talked about it a few times, on this show, that I am, more than most people, extremely, extremely, extremely concerned with the Phillies starting pitching. And we're going to start talking about that because this starting pitching, and I guess pitching in general, because the relief pitching is, we still, in my opinion, don't have a closer. I know Corey Knebel will be the closer, it seems like, but I'm still seriously concerned with, not having a set real lockdown closer. Kelly Jansen, Craig Kimball. Well, Kelly Jansen did sign with somebody, but these names were out there. Kimbrel, maybe he's available again in another trade. Who knows? But not having a lockdown closer does concern me. Problem is, do you really need a lockdown closer if you're not a World Series team? There's a whole theory that you don't have to spend that kind of money on a closer unless you're really, really contending. And I do buy into that a little bit. But still, you still need somebody that can come in and lock down the ninth inning on a regular basis, which we're going to get into that in a second because, well, actually, let's just continue on that thread there first before we get into the starting pitching. So you got Corey Knebel, you got Jose Alvarado, you got Conrad, you got Brogdon, you got Familia, you've got, I'm looking at the list of guys, you got Brad Hand, you got Hans Kraus. Everybody loves, I know Kind of Heart loves Hans Kraus. You got some decent 6th, 7th, 8th inning guys there. And if you watched any of yesterday's game, I watched a few minutes of yesterday's spring training game. There was one name that pitched yesterday in the game, and he pitched really well. And people, I kind of think, have forgotten about what Sir Anthony Dominguez really was trending towards when he first was introduced to Phillies fans in 2018. So Dominguez he's 27 years old now. Wow, I didn't even realize he was that old. I mean, he's been around a little while, but not that long. He'll be 27 this entire season. 2018, he made his debut with the Phillies, pitched in 53 games, 58 innings, to the tune of, a 2.95 ERA, and in those 58 innings, he struck out 74 batters. Now, obviously, in 2019, he was struggling a little bit. He had a 4.01 ERA, got hurt, halfway through the season approximately, and then missed pretty much all of he missed all of 2020, and he missed pretty much all of 2021 while he had Tommy John surgery. He pitched one game at the very end of the season. I think that was more of a token thing than anything else. Sir Anthony Dominguez, when he first came up in 2018, and even in the beginning of 2019, before he started having some arm tightness and problems, was trending to be the closer of the future for this team. He's got a lights-out slider. Yesterday, we start to see some of that, speed in his fastball. He was up to 97 clocked yesterday. He had a 1-2-3, struck out the side on 14 pitches yesterday. I guess Tigers or Twins, I forget who they played yesterday. They won 7-2. Sir Anthony Dominguez is the wild card of this bullpen. If he can get back to full health, to where he was in 2018, that is the guy that's going to put this bullpen over the top. That's the guy that could put Corey Knebel to where he's best suited in that 8th inning role, setting the table for Sir Anthony Dominguez. Guys, watch out for Sir Anthony Dominguez. There's a very good chance by June, by July, he is the closer on this team. And if he is, then all of a sudden everything else slots into place. Corey Knebel becomes your 8th inning guy. Brad Hand and Familia, rotate in there and cover that 7th inning. Then all of a sudden, if you've got Familia, Hand, and Knebel covering that 7th and 8th inning, Dominguez at 9th, now your starters, you only need 6 innings out of them. You only need a quote-unquote quality start out of them. And then everything just slots differently. Then instead of us having to win all games 10-8 or lose games 10-8, now all of a sudden, you have an off day at the plate, you score 3 or 4 runs, you're still in every single game. But that's the wild card right there in the bullpen. It's Sir Anthony Dominguez. And I'm really excited. I really want to see him. Dude, I remember when he first came up in 2018 and how excited he made us all feel. We weren't doing podcasts here on DSM, or I wasn't doing anything like that. I wasn't even barely on Twitter. I don't even think I had the Twitter app on my phone at that point. But I remember the feeling. I remember the excitement of 2018 with him. And there was just so much hope, and obviously arm trouble. It just comes up with these pitchers like that, and whatever. But and last year, everybody kind of at the beginning of this season were like, writing him off because his one outing he had last year. I don't even think he hit 85 on the gun last year in that one outing at the end of the season. Guys, it was his first pitch. Just forget about that game. Let's see what he does this spring. Let's also ease him into it. I don't want to force him into that role right from the get-go. I kind of want to ease him into it a little bit. So, Sir Anthony Dominguez, watch out. Keep an eye on him here in training camp. If he stays healthy, he is going to be the wild card that takes this bullpen from a question mark to really dominant. And that'll help the starting pitching. That'll also take a lot of the pressure off the starting pitching. And I'm going to get into the starting pitching here here in a second, but it takes a lot, and I mean a lot of the pressure off the starting pitching. If Sir Anthony Dominguez and the bullpen become something. Again, question marks, all wrong. No set closer. That stuff bothers me. But if Sir Anthony Dominguez can be what he could be and what he was supposed to be in 2018, watch out. I know it's talking about 2018, and I'm going to talk Aaron Nola in a second, and it's not 2018 anymore, Aaron Nola, but, let's, it's apples and oranges. Bullpen start. It's totally different. All right, so the starting pitching here. This is something that I've been pushing the narrative of, and yes, I know. We all push our narratives. We all, have our different, theories and stuff like that when we're hosting shows. We're doing a talk show. If you guys have any questions, any comments, any thoughts, make sure you're over here on the YouTube or Facebook page, dropping your comments and your thoughts right there. I appreciate anything that you've got to add to the conversation. But today you get to see me solo. You get to see me ramble about different topics today. So I got to get stuff off my chest here. So starting pitching. Look, our starting rotation at this moment is, Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola. They're your 1-2. Whether, Zach Wheeler's the ace like he should be, or if Aaron Nola gets the opening day nod because Zach Wheeler might have been a couple days, a week behind, schedule this spring training in this camp. I think that's just pulling straws. Zach Wheeler earned the right to be the opening day starter, but unfortunately, it seems like he might not be ready. I'm not sure. We'll see. Then you got Zach Wheeler, you got Aaron Nola. Then you got Ranger Suarez, Zach Eflin, and Kyle Gibson. So that's your 5 guys, okay? The problem is, are they 5 good enough guys? And I don't know. Somehow, there we go. Yeah, got it. I just don't know. So I want to start with Aaron Nola first. Aaron Nola, he was trending. We drafted him right out of college, first round pick. He came up, pitched decently, but starting in 2017, he started to round into the form that we saw in 2018 when he finished second to Jacob deGrom in the Cy Young, award race, 2.37 ERA. He was a lights out pitcher, 17 wins. Everything you would expect from an ace. But since then, Aaron Nola's kind of leveled off, I guess is the word I want to say. In 2019, a 3.87 ERA. Again, this guy is as lock solid, consistent, knock on wood. No injury history, really. Pitches 33, 34, 32 games every single season. He's out there, making every single start, which you got to love that. He's got a couple complete games the last 2 years, so he pitches decent amount of innings. Look, that part of him is consistent. But, since his ERA was 2.37 in 2018, he had a 3.87 ERA, he had a 3.28 ERA in 2020, that short season. And then last year, it just kind of bottomed out, kind of rock bottom. His worst since his 2016, his first full season in the league. And he had a 4.63 ERA. That's not good. 9-9 out of Aaron Nola, a 4.63 ERA is not good enough. Now, there's some things that, with all these pitchers I started thinking about and started looking into, and it's some of the more advanced pitching stats. And I'm going to bring these up for all these pitchers here. The league averages on batting average, the league average on slugging percentage, batted balls in play. So I started to look at these advanced numbers, home run percentage compared to the league, walk percentage compared to the league, hard hit ball percentage compared to the league. I started looking at some of these more advanced stats to try to figure out, was it just pure damn luck that they were just, not winning games and, the ERA, or, where were they? So the league average, batting average against pitchers is 2.51. Aaron Nola, even though he had a 4.68 ERA last year, batting average against him was 2.37. So it's better than average. The on-base percentage, 32.32. That's the league average. He was 0.286. Slugging percentage, 0.417. He was 4.05. So you go down the list. The only thing that he was above average in was batted balls in play, where the league average is 297 and he was 310. Some of these other things here, hard hit ball percentage, league average, 38.7%. He was 37.5. So he was better than average last year, even though his ERA, said he wasn't. So what I'm just thinking of was that last year's 4.86 now, or 4.63, maybe that ERA, maybe it was just a little bit of bad luck. Maybe it was the poor defense, which still going to have some poor defense this year, which is still concerning. But maybe there was just some pure damn bad luck, and that is something that has to be thought about. So maybe it's a little bit easier than I originally thought before I started doing some of these deeper dives for him to trend back in the right direction. Will he go back to a 2.37 ERA? I would love it, but will he? I mean, that's hard to expect. The batting, especially in the NL East, the Braves' offense is even better than it was before. The Mets' offense, it's better than it was. It's still the Mets, and pretty much everything the Mets do, backfires on them. But eventually, that's not going to be the case. So maybe we have to start thinking that Aaron Nola's really off year last year was more of a blip on the radar than it was anything else. So here's hoping to Aaron Nola having a bounce back better 2022. Because let's be honest, if Aaron Nola can get to a 3.5, 3.6 ERA, if Zach Wheeler, we'll talk Zach Wheeler next. Zach Wheeler, even close to his Cy Young award from last year. Damn, I mean that's one of the best 1-2 punches in the league. But Aaron Nola has to prove to me that it's a bounce back, that it was a blip on the radar, that it was, just some pure bad luck and not, other things. I mean, he still gives up a lot of home run balls. He gave up that one to, Vlad Guerrero Jr. in his spring training debut the other day. I still think it hasn't come down. That was 3 days ago. I got to get my orange juice in this morning. All right, Zach Wheeler last year, obviously second in Cy Young Award winning voting, 2.78 ERA. Not only did he lead the league in innings pitched at 213 innings, it was the most he's ever pitched. So that is concerning. Zach Wheeler, his biggest concern to me, he's 31. He'll be 32 at the end of May. So he's into his 32-year-old pitching. How he bounces back from 213 innings last year. We've already heard rumors that he has had a tired arm. That's why he shut down his off-season workout program. That is a major concern to me. 247 strikeouts last year. That is a concern for me. But as I go into the advanced stats, where he was, obviously he's better than league average in pretty much every category. And that's not surprising. You're not second in Cy Young if you're not. But I try to go back to previous years, okay, and see where he was. 2020, the shortened season, he was pretty much, even though he had in 2020 a really good year. He was 292. He had 11 games pitched. He was still a really good pitcher for us. If anything, lights out still for us. He was Cy Young 12th in the voting, but still a really good pitcher for us. Definitely proved he was worth his contract. But all his other things, his batting average against, the hard hit balls, balls in play, all that stuff was right at the league average or above league average. So we got to see where we're hoping that Aaron Nola, progresses back to somewhat of the Cy Young guy. He's not going to get to that 2018 level probably, but where we expect him to get better and there's some pure damn luck, we got to expect some regression from Zach Wheeler on the other side of it, because Zach Wheeler's trends and his numbers, his advanced stats show that he wasn't that good of a pitcher before. He had everything working perfectly last year. So that's where you hope that Aaron Nola comes up a little bit. Zach Wheeler doesn't drop too far down, and you still have a really good 1-2 punch. So that's still a question mark for me. But again, it's something that is getting better. My question marks, the more I deep dive into it, are less and less question marks. So, but those two guys are clearly the 1-2 guys on the starting rotation. It's the other guys. Right now, if you go to the Phillies, depth chart on MLB.com's website, it's got Zach Eflin slotted as our number 3 starter. Guys, Zach Eflin is not a number 3 starter. And I know people hate that I hate on Zach Eflin. I don't. And Zach Eflin's like my Greg Ward. I just point out a few things over and over again. And, people just don't buy it. People see the flashes and don't see the big picture. Zach Eflin is going to be 28 years old. Early. I actually, on opening day, he'll be turning 28 years old. April 8th is his birthday. So he's turning 28 years old in a few weeks here. Zach Eflin is an average at best starting pitcher. Zach Eflin does not stay healthy. That's a big thing there. Zach Eflin is not consistent. And I don't have his breakdowns. I love to break it down month by month in each season because you could totally tell Zach Eflin will have 3, 4, 5 really good games, and then either he'll get hurt or he'll have 3 or 4 or 5 really bad games. He's never, ever, ever remotely consistent. Last year, he had a 4.17 ERA. He only pitched in 18 games last year. Okay, 18 games, 105 innings. Okay, the year before that, the shortened season, he pitched 10 games. Look, he had a 3.97 ERA. People saw a little glimmer of hope in him. Getting that under 4, but still, that was the most. There's about 12 games. 11, 12 games was the average on that shortened season for most starting pitchers that didn't miss time. On a regular season, full 162 game slate, most guys throw about 34, 35. So he missed about 16, 17 starts last year. He missed about 1 or 2 the year before. Going back to 2019, another over 4 ERA, 28 starts. Means he missed a couple starts. 2018, he had a 4.36 ERA, 24 starts. Means he missed about 10 starts. The guy's average at best. I want to go into his advanced stats here a little bit. League average batting average is 250 against a pitcher. It was 276 last year. Okay, that's not good. Batted balls in play, league average 297. He was 328. Not good. Hard hit ball percentage, 38.7% average league, over 39% for Zach Eflin. So what that tells me is Zach Eflin is a slightly less than league average pitcher. But yet he is listed as our number 3 starter in this rotation. Let me tell you something, guys. If he has to be our number 3 starter, we're not going to make the playoffs. I don't care how good our offense is. If he's our 3rd best pitcher on our team, that's not good. It's not good. And if you go further down the rotation, you've got more question marks. Kyle Gibson, we traded for him last year. And Kyle Gibson last year, when we traded for him, he was with Texas last year. We traded for a guy that had 19 starts under his belt, and he had a 2.87 ERA. What did we get in the 11 starts that he gave us? A 5.09 ERA. So who is Kyle Gibson? Is he the 2.87 guy from Texas, or is he the 5.09? And you start looking at it. 2020, he pitched all 12 games, a 5.35 ERA. 2019, in Minnesota, a 4.84. 4.84? I can't see that. Yeah, 4.84 ERA. A 3.62 in 2018. A 5.07 in 2017. A 5.07 in 2016. He's really consistent with those 5.07s in back-to-back seasons. He's only had a sub-4 ERA. He had a sub-4 ERA in 2015 with Minnesota, 2018, and then last year, but that was mostly because of his time in Texas. Again, Kyle Gibson, he's like your 5 starter. That's what he should be. But probably in this lineup, in this rotation, he should be slotted ahead of Zach Eflin as the 3rd guy. He's a better version of Chase Anderson and Matt Moore, the guys we brought in last year, but he's not that much better. You go to his advanced pitching and his stats, league average, 251 average. He had a 250 batting average against him. Batted balls in play, league average is 297. He was 294. Just better, just a smidge better than average. Hard hit ball percentage, league average is 38.7%. He had 42% of the balls he hit were hard hit balls. So again, Kyle Gibson is a mediocre average at best. We have 2 guys that should be in the 5 slot in our rotation, in our 3/4 spot, in Zach Eflin and Kyle Gibson. The fact that we need both of them in our starting rotation on a regular basis, that is a huge question mark for me, a huge problem. While I'm kind of convincing myself that Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler are going to be better than they were, or than expected in the top end, I'm making myself feel worse and more depressed about the back end of the rotation with those 2 guys. And then you got the big, just like Sir Anthony Dominguez is the big wild card of the bullpen. You got another big wild card in the starting rotation in Ranger Suarez. Let me bring his numbers up here on my screen here. Ranger Suarez, he's an enigma. We don't know what he is. He's 26 years old. He'll turn 27 late in the season. But the thing with Ranger Suarez, first and foremost, will he be ready opening day? I'm not sure. There were some visa issues. I think he's from Colombia. Is it? Let me bring up his profile here. He's from Colombia. It doesn't actually. Venezuela. Okay, is where he was born. Okay, gotcha. Venezuela. I knew it was one of the South American countries that he was from. Had some visa issues. So will he be fully ready? He said he did some working out on a side field down there in Venezuela. So maybe he is ready by opening day. Maybe not. But Ranger Suarez, there's a lot of expectations on this kid. A lot of expectations. And I'm not sure if they're viable, justifiable expectations. before last year, before not even last year, before the second half of last year, the final third of last year, he was a relief pitcher. Had a cup of coffee with the Phillies in 2018. He was in 3 games, nothing special. 2019, he was a decent portion of our bullpen. He had 37 games out of our bullpen that year. Had a 3.14 ERA. 2020, that short and messed up season, I think he had three games. Wow, only 3 games out of our bullpen, and he had a 20.25 ERA. It just when you only have 3 games, one bad game, that kind of bloats your ERA. Last year, he was in 39 games, but only 12 of them were starts. So he was a fixture of our bullpen. Then all of a sudden starts starting. He had a 1.36 ERA last year. Lights out guy. Struck out just over, one batter more than innings pitched, 106 innings, 107 strikeouts. Look, he started 12 games. First time in his career that he was a starting pitcher. I don't know if you can put a lot of expectations on Ranger Suarez. Unfortunately, because of Kyle Gibson and because of Zach Eflin being mediocre guys, there's got to be a lot of expectations on Ranger Suarez. It's a wild card, though. Is he going to be that 1.36 ERA starter? No. Be one of the greatest ERAs of all time, if that's what it was. But what is he? We don't know. And that's the question. What we do know, he's a lefty. And the Phillies have not had a lefty in the rotation for a full season in a very, very long time. And that does provide some balance to the starting rotation to have that. So we're looking at some of these advanced stats on Ranger Suarez. Again, some of his numbers, I'm not sure how to break this down. I'm on baseballreference.com. Somebody knows how to break this down from his starts versus his relief appearances. I would love to know that. But I'm looking at these advanced stats. So batting average against, 2.48 average league-wide. He was 1.94. Batted balls in play, 2.95 league average, 2.59 for him. Better than average. And not just better than average, like much better than average. The hard hit ball percentage, 3.91 was the average for the league. He was 31.3. So people aren't making good contact on him. 25% strikeout percentage, 4% better than league average. Look, Ranger Suarez last year was better than league average. And that's why he had a 1.36 ERA. The question still remains. Is he better than, league average? We don't know. 12 starts last year at the end of the season is not enough to really. The Phillies are all in on him. They're saying he's one of our starting pitchers. There is no competition for any of the starting rotation spots. The only competition in camp right now for a team that was 82 and 80 last year is basically center field. They've improved their offense by adding Schwarber, by adding Nick Castellanos. They slightly improved their bullpen by bringing in some fresh names, some fresh arms. But there is no competition in the starting rotation. It is Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, Zach Eflin, Kyle Gibson, Ranger Suarez. Whatever order you want to put those final 3 guys in. That's not good. There's too many question marks on some of these guys to not have some competition. We don't even know who's going to be the first guy if somebody gets injured. Somebody has a dead arm. Whatever happens, it happens in every season. You never have all 5 guys start all 35 games. It's just not the way Major League Baseball works. But we don't know. We don't have any. We didn't bring in any backup options. We don't have much else to go with it. So I'm really concerned there. What did I just talk about for the last 30 minutes? Pitching. And how it concerns me with the Phillies. And I want this Phillies team. Look, you got a 6 team in each league, makes the playoffs. We were 82 wins last year. We would hope to be better this year. Will we be? The offense obviously is. The pitching, you just got two big wild cards. Ranger Suarez, Sir Anthony Dominguez. If those wild cards pan out and become, diamonds in the rough, if you want to call them, if they are aces of diamonds, those wild cards, that's great. But if they're 2 of clubs, we're in trouble. We're gonna have a busted flush. We're chasing the flush. We're chasing the open-ended straight here with these 2 guys, and if we don't hit it on the river, we might have some serious holes to deal with here. All right, we're gonna take a quick pause here to pay a bill, and then we'll be back, and we're gonna start talking some other topics here. But hang with me here. We'll be right back at Trending in the AM. What's up, everybody? Phil Stiefel here. Trending in the AM. Look at this site right here, 99jersey.com. Proud supporter of all Trending in the AM shows. Make sure you check them out. Like I said, 99jersey.com. They have the best jerseys of all your favorite athletes from high school, college, movies, TV shows. You got the Kobe Bryant, Lower Merion, the Charlie Conway, Mighty Duck. Everybody always asks where I got my Sugar Shane Falco jersey back there from the Replacements movie. 99jersey.com. I mean, Magic Johnson, Michigan State, Lonzo Ball, Jalen Rose, you name it, Russell Westbrook, you name it, they've got it on this site. Make sure you check them out, 99jersey.com. Use promo code TRENDING at checkout. It gets you 15% off right away. 99jersey.com, promo code TRENDING. Yo, support the podcast that brings you the heat every single morning. And we're back here at Trending in the AM, live, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. I'm rolling solo today. I wanted to get some things off my chest. I wanted to ramble on a little bit. I didn't have, Jason or Mark or any guests lined up today, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do. But I'm like, you know what, I want to get some topics off my mind here. A little bit here. Spent the first half of the show talking the Phillies. Get some of my thoughts about the Phillies. Out there about their starting pitching. But it's time to swing in a different direction. I still want to talk Sixers. I want to talk Eagles. But I think we're going to talk Eagles first because I want to get this, out there. I read an interesting piece, NJ.com, Les Bone, he's retired. He's not with the Inquirer anymore. Doing a little piece and was talking about, the Eagles and how they're lying in the weeds. They're just waiting. They're waiting to pounce. The Eagles have made 2 moves in free agency in the offseason so far, outside of bringing back their own guys. They brought in Hassan Reddick, and we've been over that a dozen times, how great of a signing it was. It was a very friendly deal. I don't know why. I mean, if he would have held out a little longer, I'm sure he could have gotten a little bit more money based off some of the other contracts. When we got Zach Pascal to a 1-year deal, probably the numbers haven't come out on it. I'm sure it's not much, But Nick Sirianni, as he said, he was the guy, Zach Pascal, when he worked with him in Indy, that started that dog mentality phrase that Nick Sirianni uses on a regular basis. And if you tried to connect the dots before it, you kind of could tell that Zach Pascal was probably going to be one of the names at some point brought into Nick Sirianni, whether it was this year, last year, next year. At some point, Zach Pascal was going to be playing under Nick Sirianni. They've missed out, the Phillies or the Eagles. I'm still stuck on Phillies talk in my head. They've missed out on quite a few names that they wanted to. They missed out on Allen Robinson, Christian Kirk. Obviously, Calvin Ridley, they were in play for, but then the suspension for gambling came up. Honestly, on a side note, I still think that we've talked about it a few times on. Jason's agreed with me on this, and Jason's brought it up. Still think they're in play on Calvin Ridley. I think Calvin Ridley will appeal his suspension. He'll fight it. I think he'll get it lowered. Maybe he gets it lowered to 6, 8 games, something like that. Because of his contract, he's a free agent at the end of the next season that he plays, whether it's next year or the year after that. It'll be his last year on his rookie deal. He's going to cost more money. He's still got about $17 million, $20 million in cap space. So if you trade for him, you're going to have to extend him, whatnot, all that kind of stuff. But because of the suspension, where he might have cost you a second-round pick, maybe you could get him for a fifth-round pick now. And you just stash him. Calvin Ridley, I mean, I know he's going to, if he sits the whole season, it's almost 2 full seasons that he'll miss a football. But he's still an elite talent. And if you get him at the right price, I think it's a smart move. If you trade if you trade a 4th-round pick for Calvin Ridley right now, and he even sits out the whole entire season, not sits out, like suspension-wise, you're still getting a better player than most likely of what you'll get in that 4th-round pick. With that 4th-round pick, the odds of a 4th-round pick working out less than 50%, Calvin Ridley, you know what he is. So I still think that's, a fair thing there. Rumors had it that they were dancing around Russell Wilson. They were dancing around Deshaun Watson. But honestly, I don't think they really were all in on those guys. I really don't think Deshaun Watson was really ever in play. Not just because Deshaun Watson didn't want to come here. Whether you believe the rumors saying that he didn't want to, supplant, his boy, Jalen Hurts because, they're friends. They know each other. He didn't want to take Jalen Hurts' job. I don't buy that. If Deshaun Watson wanted to come here, or if the Eagles wanted him and they were talking, they would have never said that wouldn't have been even part of the problem. I think Deshaun Watson didn't come here because of 2 things. One, the Eagles didn't want to have to pay up. I mean, what the Cleveland Browns gave up, 3 first-round picks, a second, a third, a fourth. I think they added a fourth-round pick. I mean, the amount of picks given up for Deshaun Watson, insane. And then the contract on top of that. I mean, they signed him to a $240 million extension. So this guy, I don't want to get into the other stuff, did what he did and just got a pay raise, a massive pay raise. Highest amount of money ever guaranteed to a quarterback. I don't think the Eagles wanted to commit to that. I think the Eagles are going to be in a position for a very long time this year and next year with Jalen Hurts, and maybe going forward, they don't want to commit that huge percentage of their salary cap to a quarterback. They already made that mistake with Carson Wentz. It was a problem. I think they're gung ho on keeping Jalen Hurts. Whether Jalen Hurts is the guy of the future or not, I don't know. Whether they draft somebody, a developmental prospect in the 4th or 5th round this year, maybe they do. Maybe they draft a quarterback next year, and they just continue this trend of having these young quarterbacks. And if they hit on one and they have to pay them, they do. But if not, they can keep moving on to these young guys and save that salary cap. Everybody's freaking out yesterday about Malik Willis and his pro day, and I got to check here. Pretty sure I've got it up on my screen somewhere here. Damn it, I did. I gotta find this real quick. But everybody's freaking out about Malik Willis and his pro day yesterday, and some throw that he made. And I'm gonna bring it up on the screen here. It's only gonna take me a second to find it. Nope, that's not it right there. That's not Malik Willis. All right, so here it is. All right, so everybody's freaking out. I'm gonna share my screen here again. Actually, let me bring this back to the beginning of the video so it's paused. All right, so we're gonna share this screen here in a second. And there we go. And we're going to zoom in on this here, and we're going to click play here. And just everybody's freaking out about this pass here. Look at him. He rolls out. Flick of the wrist. That goes 60 yards down the field to a wide receiver who catches it for the touchdown. Let's watch it again. Oh, my God. This play is fantastic. Oh, look at that. He just rolled away from that defender really hard. Look at the separation that wide receiver got on the cornerback there. All right. So I think you guys understand what I'm saying here. This is a pro day. Look at that corner. But where's the corner? I think the cameraman. Look at the pressure this guy in the white hoodie gives him. Man, that really shows a lot. So what I'm saying is, there's a lot of people out there that overreact to pro day. They overreact to the Eagles brass at pro day. There's people from the Eagles here at Malik Willis's pro day. There's people at every single pro day. Except for Jackson State.
Yeah, I don't know if
Deshaun,
it looks like they're flipping the field. I don't think we're
Deion Sanders did call it the Eagles as one of the 8 teams that did not go to Jackson State, pro day, whatever. That was a little side, little tangent.
Yeah,
Let me get this Malik Willis stuff off the screen here for a second. Look, people overreact to pro days, and the reason why I say that is, and this kind of kills my Jalen Hurts love a little bit, but we could do the same thing and talk about Jalen Hurts' pro day. I mean, this is Jalen Hurts, and we'll just play this in the background a little bit as we're talking. This is Jalen Hurts and CeeDee Lamb's pro day at Alabama a few years back. I mean, you see the passes, that pass from Jalen Hurts, right on target right there. Yeah, that was Jalen Hurts throwing the ball. You'll see it. Look at Jalen Hurts here, rolling out, making a pass. Tough over the middle pass, no problem. There's people that don't think Jalen Hurts has arm strength. Look at these passes. That was a great back corner end zone throw. Great catch by CeeDee Lamb. It also helps to have someone like CeeDee Lamb catching your balls. These are some drills here as well. We're just going to keep rolling this in the background as we wait for more plays to come up with Jalen Hurts in it. But look at this. Look at this route. Nice little cross route. Dips it in, dips it back out. Look at that. That's Jalen Hurts throwing the ball right there. Here, look at this bomb he threw. Well, that wasn't the bomb. And I know there's a couple bombs in this here. Yeah, that was just a little quick slant route. This is a double move onto the outside that he throws. This one I think is, I mean, look at that. Who says he can't have arm strength? A little floater right here to him. It doesn't matter. Is this the double move on the outside that he overthrows him? Yeah, this is the one where he overthrows CeeDee Lamb. Yeah. The point is, everybody looks good on their pro day. Everybody. These pro days are set up by the players, their colleges, their agents, to make them look good. When you see Malik Willis, when you see Kenny Pickett, when you see any of these guys, Matt Carl, when they have their pro days this week, and they look so good, don't overreact. Take more into account what you saw in the games. Take into account what you saw at the Senior Bowl, if they played in the Senior Bowl. Take into account those things. These pro days, I mean, I don't like the combine, but I'm telling you, the combine is 10 times better than this. At least it's, that the agents aren't setting it up, that the schools aren't setting up, the players don't. This is a pre-scripted, amongst everybody that's involved. Look at this throw here. Nice little back shoulder throw again. That wasn't really back shoulder. I think it was supposed to be. Look, Deshaun Watson, or not Deshaun, Jalen Hurts. If Jalen Hurts can look good on his pro day, anybody can. Jalen Hurts is what he is. He's a limited quarterback. He's still a great leader, a great person. I still want him. He still earned the right for next season and going forward because he showed some progress. But obviously, there were massive question marks on him coming out of college, what kind of quarterback he was going to be. But he looked fantastic in his pro day. Look, everybody's got to relax on the pro day stuff because, guys, it's not realistic, tape. It's not realistic, skill set being shown there. It's just not. It's more, I talk about analytics and stuff like that. It's more analytical kind of stuff. How their feet look. What their throwing motion is and things like that. But that's about all you can get out of a pro day, in my opinion. But back to the Eagles for a second. Somehow I got right onto the Jalen Hurts and the pro day talk there for a second. But back to the Eagles. They're lying in wait. And Mark likes to say, on the shows and on Twitter that Howie Roseman's playing chess, not checkers. And that's the key thing there. They got 3 first-round picks. There's so much they can do. The Eagles have never drafted 3 players in the first round. They've never used 3 first-round draft picks. I think it's only happened like 2 or 3 times where they've actually used 2 picks in the first round. So Howie Roseman, he's a wheeler. He's a dealer. Whether he's using these picks to move to 2023, to gain more later-round picks, whether he's using them to trade for a player, whether we get DK Metcalf, which is that rumor that we keep bringing up. I don't even think it's a real rumor. I think we're just making the rumor ourselves. My sources tell me, because I have no sources. On a side note, people out there that do podcasts, they have 500 views like mine, 1,000 views like mine. The people on Twitter that have that do this just for engagement purposes to engage the other people out there. Dude, if you don't have sources, stop saying you have sources. My sources say this guy's coming. Look, I know there's a few guys, the Vins, they're parody accounts. They have fun. They just throw 1,000 things. They don't take it seriously. But there's a lot of guys out there that are saying their sources say. Their sources say. And dude, it's annoying as hell. It sucks. It's stupid. You embarrass yourself because we know, that you don't have sources. And there's quite a few people out there that do this on a regular basis. It's so annoying. Dude, you embarrass yourself. An average person like myself, there's a lot of people that are even smarter than me, can tell who the real legit people are and who aren't. If you don't have sources, stop saying you have sources. So I don't have any real sources that say DK Metcalf is a rumor for the Eagles. It's just me reading, the tea leaves there, saying they're probably trying to sell off. We've got extra picks. If we can get DK Metcalf for the 16th or 19th pick, hell, for the 15th pick, it's a done deal. So, but it also comes back to the fact that we missed out on all these wide receivers. We need wide receivers here. Look, Zach Pascal is still a nice little upgrade. He's basically a more veteran version, a more headstrong version of Travis Fulgham. He's a guy, he's not going to provide flashy numbers. He's not going to be a starter. He's a veteran guy, a 4th guy on a team. And he could do much worse. I mean, we've had much worse in the 4th spot on this team. But they still got to upgrade it. Back to whether they trade that 15th pick for DK Metcalf, where they draft with the 16th or 19th pick, Jameson Williams, Chris Olave, any of those, Drake London, any of those guys that fall to them there. Look, that's where you're going to upgrade the wide receiver room with those spots in the draft or trading for DK Metcalf. He's just plodding along. He's just being patient. He's trying to be aggressive, but he's also not being too aggressive where he's overpaying. I mean, you look at some of these deals that free agents, I mean, Von Miller, $120 million, Christian Kirk, $72 million, J.C. Jackson, $82 million. He's being tactical with what he does, Howie Roseman. And that's the key right now. He's not, just jumping the gun and overpaying excessively for these guys. And that's smart. But he still wants to be aggressive. We see that he was in on Calvin Ridley. He danced around the Deshaun Watson stuff. I don't think it was real. But I think there was some conversation there. He's being aggressive, but methodical and smart about what he does. He's not just going to go out and overpay. Look, everybody wants Tyrann Mathieu now. We missed out on Marcus Williams, which is fine. We were close to that deal. He went to the Ravens. That's fine. I'm not sure. They haven't really said why he went to the Ravens over the Eagles. It could have been, a few more $1 million. It could have just been the fact that, the Ravens have that legendary history on defense. Maybe he wanted to play there for that reason. Tyrann Mathieu, that's the name. And he's still out there. And he's probably still out there, the Honey Badger, because he wants X amount of money, and teams aren't willing to pay him. Howie Roseman is not going to exceed what in his mind is about, and that's smart. You don't want to go pay a 30-year-old safety. If you want to get him a 2 or 3 year deal, that's fine. You want to sign him for $10 million a year, that's fine. But you're not going to go out there and give him, what did Marcus Williams get? 5 years, $70 million. It's like $12 million a year, $13 million a year, $15 million a year. Can't really do math really this early in the morning. Whatever it is, you're not going to give Tyrann Mathieu that. So actually 3 years, $30 million, with $20 million guaranteed, that's about the max that you're going to give a guy like that. If he wants more, all right, go get it somewhere else. And that's what Howie Roseman's doing right now. He's being very methodical and smart about it because I think he's learning his lesson. He's learned. His draft last year, much better, drafting the right guys in the first round and second round, guys from big-time programs. I think Howie Roseman, you're starting to see a little corner be turned with Howie Roseman. He's not he's still the smartest, got to be the smartest guy in the room, but he's at least listening and learning from some of the mistakes he's made in the past. He doesn't want to have to, do all what the circus around Fletcher Cox to fix his mistake. He doesn't want to do those things anymore. So he's learning and he's adjusting, and we just have to have patience. Look, he's going to be here for this year. He's going to be here next year. Him and Nick Sirianni are tied at the hip now. Their contracts are in line. You're going to give them this year. You're going to give them both next year. We're going to see what happens. Then after that, after 2023, depending after 3 years with them together, then we'll see. But they're learning and they're growing. And I think it was Jason yesterday brought up the fact that you're starting to see Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman work together. That's why Zach Pascal was brought in, because they're working together. And that's another area where Howie Roseman is growing as a general manager and president of football operations. He's learning to work with his coaches, not work over his coaches. So positivity there. Bam. I want to talk Sixers too. We're at 52 minutes here. I'm solo, and I've been talking here for 52 minutes, and I haven't stopped. And I've only got like 7 minutes left to get to Sixers talk here. So we're going to wrap that up, and we're going to move on. Haven't had enough time to drink. I normally have that whole glass of orange juice done by this point, and I'm not even halfway done it yet. So the Sixers, start a road their West Coast road trip. They are going up against the Lakers tonight, 10:30 or 10 o'clock tonight. Then on Friday they got 10:30 against the Clippers, which is actually really convenient. You go to the West Coast, you have back-to-back games. Well, not back-to-back games, but 2 games in a row. Wednesday and Friday in LA. It makes it a little easier of a road trip because you just go into one place, stay in one hotel, both places, Staples Center. Makes it a lot easier, a little less stressful on the body. So they got the Lakers tonight, they got the Clippers on Friday, and then they go on Sunday, a late afternoon, a 6 o'clock tip against the Phoenix Suns, best team in the NBA. It's really tough though for teams to go, East Coast to West Coast and play those late games. It's tough for the fans. Let me be honest. The game starts tonight at 10, Friday at 10:30. Dude, if I get 15 to 20 minutes of tonight's game in, if I get to halftime, dude, that's lucky. When I break down and recap tomorrow's game, I'm going to be just going off of box scores, and I'm going to be going off of recaps I read and highlights. There's literally zero chance I make it past halftime tonight. It's just tough. But the Lakers, man, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, obviously injured as always again this year. They're 31-41. They're 27 games out of first place. They are only 3 games up on the San Antonio Spurs to miss the playoffs. They're locked into the playing games. They might move up to the 8th seed. They're 4 games back there, but that's even a stretch with 10 games left. The Los Angeles Lakers, led by LeBron James, Anthony Davis, are the 9th seed in the NBA. The Sixers, going out west, are favored by 7.5 points over the Los Angeles Lakers. This game should never look. I said last year, everybody was writing the Lakers off last year, and my theory kept going. I was on Scotty Talks NBA. I went on other shows to talk basketball. And I kept saying the same thing over again. You do not bet against the Lakers until somebody beats them. It looks like everybody's beating them now. It is time to start to think that the Lakers organization built a really bad team. Anthony Davis, never healthy. LeBron James, he's getting up there in age. He's still, LeBron James is still, let me try to find LeBron James's numbers here. LeBron James Still average. He's averaging 30 points a game. Wow. I didn't even realize it was that high. I thought he was a little bit less than 30 points a game, 8.2 rebounds a game, 6.3 assists. He's playing 37 minutes a game. He's shooting over 35% from three. I mean, he's still 1.5 steals a game, a block a game, only turning it over 3 times a game. LeBron James is still playing. I mean, look at this. His last 5 games, 41 minutes, 36 minutes, 45 minutes, 37 minutes, 40 minutes. This guy is still playing at an elite level. I don't want to gush about LeBron James when we're trying to talk Sixers, but look, the Lakers got so many other issues, and they just pretty much signed in the offseason. I remember the DSM group chat about, oh my God, they signed another guy. Oh my God, they're going to have 37 roster spots. They signed another guy. Well, they just signed every random guy and hoped that something worked out, and it didn't, because you didn't build a good team, and it's showing, because the Lakers are just dreadful right now, just completely and totally dreadful right now. So what happens? The Lakers, we should beat the Lakers. The Lakers are, let's see here, they're 2-3 in their last 5. I think they're 4-6 in their last 10. They're not a good team. We should win this game with no issues tonight. Hopefully, James Harden and Joel Embiid, they got enough rest, by skipping Miami the other night. Which again, that Miami win, again, I got to touch on it for half a second. What a win that was. What a way for Tyrese Maxey to continue to grow the star. Going out to L.A., they're going to be in L.A. for a couple days. Tyrese Maxey's this new budding star. Love to see him come out, in L.A. and put out a good showing, out there. Everybody's eyes are always on the Lakers, whether the Lakers are good or not. LeBron's on that team. The eyes are always on L.A. It's one of the meccas of the NBA. It's one of the most storied franchises in the NBA. Everybody's eyes are going to be on the Lakers and Sixers tonight. So love to see Tyrese Maxey come out and have a great game again. It'll be good to see what what the rest did for Joel. Look, we got them. Then we got the Clippers on Friday night. I mean, we'll more preview that when we get closer to it. But the Clippers, again, they're not much better than the Lakers. I mean, they haven't had Kawhi all season long. Paul George has been in and out of the lineup, but they're 36-38. Again, it's another game that we should win. So we take those 2 games in LA, Wednesday, tonight, and Friday, and start that trip 2-0. Look, the Phoenix Suns, they're still a really great team. They're the number 1 team in the league. They're 58-14. They're winning games at an 80% clip. It's going to be a really tough game. Chris Paul is still out, but they still got Devin Booker. They still got DeAndre Ayton. They still got a great, great team in Phoenix. And I thought they were going to slip up a little bit, but they're 8-2 in their last 10 games. Phoenix Suns are still running away. They got a 9-game lead in the Western Conference. A 9-game lead over the Memphis Grizzlies. It's insane. So that'll be a really tough win. It is on a Sunday. It's a late 6 o'clock game. We'll see. But if we can go 2-1, if we can take both games against LA and then lose, if we lose against Phoenix, that's a successful road trip, in my opinion. So I'd really like to see it happen that way. I really wanted to talk more about the Sixers and Lakers, but honestly, I went so long about the Phillies, and then I started talking about people stopping admitting that they have don't say you have sources when you don't, and talking about Malik, relax on the pro days and stuff. I didn't really leave myself enough time to talk Sixers. But again, like I said, love to see the Sixers go 2-1 on this West Coast trip, and they come home. There's 10 games left in the season. There'll be 7 games left when they get back from this West Coast trip. And I said it at the beginning of not the beginning, like about the midway point of the season. The final 7 games of the season are actually the easiest part of the Sixers schedule. And if we can go 2-1 on this West Coast trip, let me bring this back up here real quick. Their schedule. That's 2-1, and then there's 1, 2, 3. There's 8 games left after this. Okay, and you got Milwaukee. That's 8, and then after Milwaukee on Tuesday next week, then you got your final 7 games. You got Detroit, Charlotte, Cleveland, Indy, Toronto, Indy, Detroit. They could run the table there. We've already beaten Cleveland a bunch. Toronto, we lost. We're going to want revenge on our minds for that. Indiana, bad team. Detroit, bad team. Charlotte, an okay team at best. We legitimately could. We go 2-1 there. We beat the Bucks again. We've just shown we can. It's 3-1. So we got 11 games left starting tonight. Can we go 9-2? It's really possible. I mean, we're going to rest some of our big name guys. Joel will get a break here and there. James Harden will get a break here and there. Oh, man. It could be a really good finish to the season and momentum getting to this offseason. Real quick, today, I haven't brought up my National Calendar Day in a while. I've just been too busy on these shows to bring it up. I wanted to bring it up. And I ran out of time, but I do have to say today's national days are quite interesting. Today first is World Meteorology Day. It's the only job you can be right 10% of the time and still make millions of dollars. Today is National Tamale Day, and I work at my pizza shop. Fox's Pizza here is in Kennett Square, home of like literally 3,000 Mexican food trucks. Might have to get myself a Mexican tamale or a tamale today on National Tamale Day. Today's National Chip and Dip Day. My favorite thing to do when I'm watching a Sixers game, a Phillies game, a movie, chips and dip, man. I'm a chips and dip freak. I love them. A little queso dip, a little guacamole, whatever it may be. Love it. But most importantly, today is National Puppy Day, a day to honor those puppies that cuddle up against us. When everything's going bad, you snuggle up with a puppy. It makes everything go better. So snuggle up with your puppy today. Send me your pictures of you and your puppy snuggling on Twitter at Beard and Knowledge. I'd love to see him. I'm going to make a post. I'll post some of Old Man Al. He might be 14, but he's still my puppy. He's still my little dude. So National Puppy Day today. Anyway, today's been a blast. I just went an hour solo. Wouldn't even have known I went solo because, damn, it flew by. Solo again tomorrow. What we were talking about before. I'm going to talk about the Phillies tomorrow, but we're going to keep it going. I enjoy doing a few solo shows. Friday, Jason Voorhees will be back with me for Football Friday. We'll do another mock draft. Maybe I'll do a mock draft tomorrow. We'll see. You never know what I'm going to want to talk about on the morning show. I also want to shout out Chris Ebom, Chris Yuzusian. I can never say his name right. It doesn't matter how many times I try. He was on Fairway to Heaven with me last night, talking to Dell Play Match Play Tournament. Make sure you check it out. It was a great episode, great show with him. Thank you to him. But this week, there's 2 golf events going on this week simultaneously. The Dell Match Play starts today, and then the Punta Cana Championship starts tomorrow. Typical Thursday tournament. I'm going to be going a second, shorter version of Fairway to Heaven tonight solo, breaking down that because people miss out on a lot of money that can be made on these second tournaments because everybody's focused on the main event, the match play. There's a lot of money to be made on the Punta Cana Championship. We're going to go live tonight about 9 o'clock, Fairway to Heaven. So make sure you check that out. Make sure you just stay tapped into DSM Media at all times because we got shows all day, every day. Faithful Fanatics, Turf Talk, Diamond Talk. We got Broad Street Bulls. We got El Parcero and all his game recaps. I'm sure. I doubt he'll do his Sixers recap at 2 a.m., but I'm sure he'll do a Sixers recap tomorrow morning or something. Look, lots going on DSM Media. Everybody have a great Wednesday. We'll be back tomorrow. Again, thank you very much for tuning in today. At Beard and Knowledge, make sure you shoot me a follow and follow at DSM Media. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Everybody have a great day. Talk to you tomorrow, guys. Sixers in 5, baby.